do it. You have another place that you live at or a vacation home or something else, okay? Of course, we have our disclaimer. Our disclaimer is that these classes are provided as a public service. They're for informational purposes only. We don't get paid by anybody for like any of the companies. So we just kind of review everything and see what works best. We're in people's homes a lot because we do support. And so we get to see what works and what doesn't work. Everybody's home's a little different. And so we kind of hopefully give you instructions that makes it easy for everybody. This class is being recorded, may be used for training, marketing, or commercial purposes. If you do not wish to have your likeness recorded, this is mostly for the people online. Go ahead and turn off the camera by clicking on the left-hand, by the camera icon in the left-hand corner of your Zoom window, or simply just put something over your camera and we'll be done. All right. So I started off with this. Everybody loves their TVs. Everybody I know loves watching something on TV. If you don't, I think you're weird, right? I mean, we talk about it, you know, the hot show right now is The White Lotus. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I watched both seasons. I thought they were pretty interesting. It's on HBO or HBO Max, which you can get from streaming, or if you subscribe to HBO, you can watch it there. But there's a lot of other things that are available, and we're going to talk about all this stuff. Once upon a time, we had broadcast. We had the rabbit ears, right? I remember when we got our first TV, our first color TV. My parents got it from Eureka Federal Savings for opening up a bank account. And at the time, we had what, channel 2, maybe channel 4, 5, 7, PBS channel, and then maybe channel 44, which was my channel because it had all the cartoons and everything. Then came cable. Okay, we all know we have cable. And then we had digital and satellite, those big dishes on our house. My parents actually had 2 of these big giant 12-foot parabola satellites because they wanted to watch football games because my brother-in-law played football in Canada. And then now we have streaming. Okay, so let's be clear. Broadcast over the air, cable over the air, but through a cable, satellite still over the air, streaming over the internet. Okay. And what streaming is, it's a constant feed of information that delivers content to your TV versus downloading something, right? Once upon a time, we used to we'd download a video and watch it. With streaming, it's an internet connected device where it just feeds information and you can watch your TV.
Who provides this? Is it a company or?
Yes, and we'll talk about that. Just hold on. So they asked who provides the streaming. It comes from the cloud, but each content provider provides specific content, specific TV programs. And the one thing about streaming, how many of you guys record things like on your DVR, or you can record now? Yeah. So the thing about streaming is you don't have to record anything because it's always it's always available to you. Right? We're going to talk about that. We're going to show you that. We're just hang tight. We'll get there. I'm walking you through all this. Okay. So we understand. No, well, I got people online too, so it's okay. So what happened? So I want to talk about movie theaters for a second. Okay. So for the movie industry has been going down since 2015, but when the pandemic hit, it went really down. And so what happened was the impact of the pandemic on the movies theaters is they put more money into streaming, right? And in fact, more people like to watch shows in their home than they like going out to the movie theater, okay? And so that's one of the drivers of why there's more and more content coming into streaming. When I talk about content, understand when I say content, I mean TV programs, okay? So I want to talk about this. So Netflix, 220 million subscribers. How many of you guys have a Netflix account? You guys, anybody here on Netflix? Okay, a couple. How many of you guys have a Prime, Amazon Prime account? So with your Amazon Prime account, you have access to the Prime Video. Okay. And then there's Disney Plus, HBO, Hulu, Paramount. And I'm going to tell you, Besides Netflix and Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Peacock, they've all come about in the last 3 years. So it's relatively new. Okay, Netflix was the first. That's why they got so many subscribers. Amazon Prime has a lot of subscribers because everybody has a Prime account, or a lot of people have a Prime account. But all these other ones are just coming on really quickly, and it's changing. It's changing the environment. And they're spending a ton of money. So I don't know if you guys have Prime Video. If we're at least seeing the advertisement for Lord of the Rings, that cost them $1 billion. It says 60 million, but it's $1 billion because they had to pay the guy, whatever was his name, the author who had the rights. They had to pay for him. They had to pay the actors. They had to pay the production. So it's literally almost $1 billion they invested into that show. And then Disney and all the Marvel stuff spent a lot of money. Any of you guys watch Game of Thrones or House of Dragon? That was $20 million just to make that TV show. And so the reason why I talk about this and how much money they're spending, because it's big money. I mean, they spent altogether in the streaming industry last year $50 billion on original content. That's a lot of money. So you got to think about it, right? They're putting in a lot of emphasis on this. You had a question?
I have a question, is that, how do they get the revenue for that?
No. So let's talk about Netflix for a second. If we go here, so the question is how do they get revenue? Netflix, they're paying, I think probably on average $15 per person per household times per month times 220 million. That's your revenue stream, right? They don't make money, but they have enough revenue that they can keep getting more money. Right? So I don't want to get into the business side of things, but if you have a revenue stream, people are likely to give you money. Prime Video, they get subscribers. It costs what, $150 subscription, I think, a year. You do, but they make money every time you transact something also. Disney Plus, and you'll get the prices, 162 million times $6 a month, I think it is, something like that. So it just keeps coming. And of course, Disney owns everything. Right? So, all right. And then, so let's talk about these and then we'll talk about how to access them. Okay, so Netflix, 222 million subscribers globally. You can now get it for $7 with just at the bare minimum, $7 a month. But most people, so what comes to, sorry, $7 a month. You're able to stream things. You can't download anything. You get advertising. So most people go to $10 at least, or $15. If you and you can watch for $10, one device at a time. Okay. You can download to one device at a time. If you go $15 or $20, you get more screens. So let me stop there for a second. If you guys live alone, you don't need to have more than one device at a time because you're probably only going to watch one device at a time. If you're like me, who has 4 children and a wife, we want as many screens as we can because they're all watching it. Otherwise, none of us can watch, or some of us won't be able to watch. Okay. Biggest shows on that is Stranger Things. You might have heard about Stranger Things. It's kind of a teenager show, right? Dahmer, you guys know about Jeffrey Dahmer. They did a big special on him. Wednesday is about Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family. It's now the biggest watched show on Netflix. But there's a lot of stuff on Netflix. If you were going to get one streaming service, it would probably be Netflix at this time because they have the most content. They have the most and the most original content. They also make movies, right? And they are now making movies concurrent with the theater. So they'll put it in the theater and they'll put it on the streaming service. It is best for its original content and some of the dramas. It's not something you would get for sports. Okay. So I'm going to go through all of these and then we'll come back to it. Okay. Prime Video, 200 million Amazon Prime subscribers. If you have a Prime subscription, you can watch Prime Video. Not everybody watches it, but you can. You can also get Prime Video by itself. They have a lot of different original content, The Boys, The Terminal, Lord of the Rings. It's got a mix of a lot of different things, including Thursday Night Football, which they now have on Prime Video. If you guys were watching the 49er game, you could have watched it on your phone or your tablet or anything else. Okay. And you can also, they have a different kind of aspect about it, where you can actually rent movies from them. You can add different services, such as Showtime or HBO or anything else. And so it competes with, again, Hulu and Netflix. Now, the nice thing, and I didn't say this at the beginning, the nice thing about streaming services, you can start and stop them at any time versus Comcast. You're locked in for a 2-year period at a discounted rate. And if you stop it early, you have to pay more. Okay. But say you just wanted to watch, like on Apple TV, Coda, which was a Oscar winner, right? It was an Oscar winning movie only available on Apple TV. Well, you can subscribe to it for a month, watch it, and then stop it, and you don't have to keep paying for it. And for $5.99 a month, it's less than a movie ticket. Right? So that's the nice thing about these. The only hard part is you got to pay attention and not forget. Okay. These are things you can add on to Prime if you want to, and it would all bill through your Prime account. So if you wanted to watch the Warriors, for example, or not the Warriors, let's say you want to watch the Dallas Mavericks because we're from Texas, you could get NBA All League Pass and watch those games. Or if you want to watch HBO, you could buy it. And again, it all gets added onto your Prime bill, and it makes it easy to have one place to charge everything. The industry is changing quickly. So HBO Max recently got bought by Warner Brothers, which is Discovery Plus. And so they're consolidating those. There's an interesting story about this consolidation because as a result of the merger, they're losing something like $1 billion a year. So they're slashing budgets and firing people, and they're redesigning it. HBO Max costs about $15 a month. If you have HBO Max through Xfinity, you have access to HBO Max online. It gets really convoluted because they partner with your TV providers. Some do, and then it makes it available online. Because when you pay Comcast $15 a month for HBO, it's still revenue and you have a subscription. It's just through Comcast. It gets really confusing because there's so many different ways to get this stuff. I was going to tell, when we originally was going to make this presentation, I talked to CJ. I said, we'll tell you how to cut the cord. And she goes, well, we don't want you to cut the cord because it's off your Comcast here or Xfinity. So we're going to try to walk through these, and then I'll show you how to get online through Xfinity. Okay. Apple TV Plus. Okay. Apple TV is only original content, where everybody else had like old broadcast shows, other things. Okay. Apple TV Plus has the least amount of content, but they're all quality shows. If you've heard about Ted Lasso, if maybe you heard Ted Lasso, they're on Apple TV Plus. If you heard about Coda, like I just said before, which is an Academy Award winning movie, it was only on Apple TV Plus. And so I know a lot of people who just got Apple TV just to watch that movie. And again, they turned it off a month later. Or you get a free trial, you watch it, and then you turn it off. Okay? Again, they're pretty inexpensive. They're like $7 a month or $5 a month. And a lot of times, if you buy a new Apple device, they'll give it to you for a trial for 3 months. Disney Plus, like I said, Disney owns everything. This is great if your grandchildren come over and visit you guys a lot, right? Because it's all Marvel and animated shows and the princesses and everything else. But if you buy the package, you get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus together for like less than the price of Netflix. So you get all three of them. So that way you get some sports, you get some TV, you get some movies, you get some Disney. Okay. I should say $72.99 a year, not a month. Paramount is CBS. How many of you guys have you watched The Good Wife from a few years ago? So The Good Wife was this drama that was really popular. And when they first launched this, they put The Good Wife only on the streaming service. And so they started drawing subscribers. Paramount's actually pretty good because it's got the Paramount movies plus all the CBS, and they also are putting a lot of original content on there. Peacock, NBC, they now have their own streaming channel. It's free through Xfinity if you have an Xfinity TV program right now. So they'll give you more content. But if you didn't have it, you could buy it $5 or $10 a month. And then there's Hulu. You guys have heard of Hulu. They were once owned by Disney and Comcast. They once upon a time had all the broadcast shows, CBS, NBC, Fox, ABC. They have stripped out most of the CBS content and most of the NBC content. Why? Because they have their own streaming channels, right? And so why would you give it to somebody else? Okay. They also have been creating more content, original content. And maybe you might have heard of The Handmaid's Tale, right? The Handmaid's Tale has been a popular show. It talks about a dystopian future where our Republicans are driving us to. Sorry, it's a political joke. But it's about the handmaid. You guys have probably heard about the book, The Handmaid's Tale. Okay. You can also, if you didn't have Xfinity, you could get Hulu Live, which is the $70 a month. And that includes ESPN, Disney Plus, and Hulu. And then you could get all your local channels as well. So if you have a cabin in Tahoe or something, you don't want to pay for cable, you're only up there every now and then, you could turn on and off Hulu, and you would get all your local channels with it. Okay. All right, I want to go through. There are free channels that you can get. There is a free version of Peacock. There is a free channel of the Roku if you have a Roku stick. IMDb TV. Crackle has a bunch of the old Sony movies. Pluto has a lot of just kind of miscellaneous stuff. My mother-in-law used to love Tubi TV, which is also free. Okay, so the bottom line is there's a ton of stations and channels. There is more content available to you now than there ever has been. Again, there's $50 billion worth of investment into original content, which is just creating more and more programming. And like I said, it's a little overwhelming because there's so many channels. You know, like I said, once upon a time, we had channel 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 44, channel 9, right? Now you have all this stuff plus a whole bunch more. And I think you asked earlier if they cost you money. They do. They cost you money, right? Except for the free stuff that I mentioned. So again, everybody here at the V has Comcast, and we're going to talk about that specifically, how to access it. If you didn't have Comcast, you could buy a device which allows for streaming. We personally like the Roku, and you buy this little piece of equipment. It's like $35 a one-time fee. And as long as you have an internet connection, you can start adding channels, like all these channels, all these channels, and you just pay for it and you log in, and it's really easy. I'm not going to talk too much about it here because you guys have Xfinity. Okay. You also could get an Apple TV device, you get an Amazon Fire Stick. Again, we're going to talk about Xfinity today because one of the reasons why we like Xfinity is they've made it really easy to get all these streaming channels through Xfinity. You guys don't have AT&T, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, So this is like one slide, but we're going to talk about it. Okay. So you guys, how many of you guys here have that remote control? Right? Or a remote control that you can with a mic button on it. Okay. So there's lots of ways to go about getting to your streaming channels, but the easiest way is to press the mic button and just say Netflix. Okay.
You can't get Netflix now, like, start Netflix.
Yeah, that's right. Or Prime Video or Hulu or Disney Plus, right? You just press the mic. This is one of the reasons why we really like Xfinity, is because they make it easy, right? If you guys have ever had AT&T as a Uverse, it's horrible, right? It's just the interface is horrible. We like Xfinity, especially for older folks, because of this remote. It's a really good remote. You can even ask it for your Wi-Fi password, and it'll show you your Wi-Fi password on the TV. Right? This is what we're talking about more about Monday. Okay. But this remote is really smart. Okay. You can even press the mic and say Yellowstone, and it'll pull up the program Yellowstone. Right. You can press the mic and say 49ers game, and it will pull up the 49ers game. Okay. But anyways, the first time you're going to use this, you have to log into your subscription. And so you need to make sure you have your email address that you log into Netflix with, or Prime Video or anything else, and the password. You can have a choice. You say Netflix, it'll say sign in. And again, you only have to do this once. And you can sign in right on your TV with the arrow buttons, right? You see the arrow buttons, and the arrow buttons are right here, right? And it'll give you a keyboard, and it'll tell you how to type it in. Or it'll say login from the web or a computer, which I recommend. It's a lot easier because there's a keyboard. Okay. So you go in, you say sign in on your computer. It'll give you a code, which is similar to the second screen on the right. It says CU. It'll be CUR53 or something like that. You go to your computer, you open up a browser, you go to wherever it tells you to go to. It's amazon.com/mytv, or it's Netflix. I can't remember. Disney's like Disney Plus /activate, things like that. Okay. And then you sign in, and you say, they ask you for what code is on your screen. You type in that code, then automatically it starts going. Right. So you only have to do this once again. And then from there on out, all you have to do is go to your remote, say Netflix, open it up, and it'll pop in. Yes, question.
When you say you do this on the computer, but then you stream on it.
Correct. Yes. You can also stream on your computer, your iPad, or anything else, or your phone. That's the beauty of streaming, is that you can stream it on any device that has an internet connection. I often watch I do all my cooking. I do all the cooking in my house, right? My kids don't eat if I don't cook. Okay. And so I have my iPad, and I'm moving it around the kitchen versus going like this and watching the Niners game, trying to see the TV. Another question.
The number of devices.
Yes.
That means whether you have a computer or television.
So the question is, when I said earlier, the fee includes the number of devices, the number of concurrent devices you can watch at the same time. So if you have an iPad and you want to watch it on your TV, and you only ask for you only pay for one screen, you can only want to watch one of those at a time. Yes, you can switch between them. Absolutely, you can switch between them. Okay. Again, I have a bigger iPad, which is nice, but it makes it easy to carry around. And maybe we shouldn't be carrying it around watching TV, but like I said, when I'm in the kitchen and I'm doing stuff or washing the dishes, it makes it a lot easier for us to watch things. Okay. Do I have questions online?
Yeah, Eric, if I
Yeah.
wanted to watch a specific program on HBO, can I just buy one program?
No, but you can buy the month.
Okay.
And then turn it off. So
Okay.
did you guys hear the question? She said if she just wants to watch one show. Again, buy it, turn it off.
Is there a limit to, they don't say what you've done 1 month, 3 times, and all that sort of thing.
So the question is, is there a limit how often you can do this? No, there's no limit how often you can turn it on and turn it off. Right? I mean, they want your money however you can get it. Right. And if you're doing it, if you're buying it or renting it, whatever, right, subscribing to it 3 times out of the year, they're probably going to say, hey, you really should buy, you should probably think about it. We have so much other content, because they're going to start sending you emails because they have your email. But my thing is, most of them give you a free trial. Go ahead and try it. You might find, and what you're going to do is you're going to talk to all your friends, and they're going to start talking about, like I said, the White Lotus or Coda or whatever. And you're going to say, oh, maybe I should. For example, when Disney Plus first came out, they put Hamilton on. Everybody wanted to watch Hamilton. I saw it in person, and I watched it on TV or on streaming, and it was great. But again, you can subscribe to it and you can turn it off. Okay. Again, a lot of people did that for Coda. Once the Academy Awards came out, people bought it and they turned it off. What they're hoping for is that you forget. Right? They hope that you forget, that you just keep paying for it month after month. It's kind of like our Comcast bill. For those who the Comcast bill keeps going up. Right? I mean, you guys have base, but then you have to pay for your own here, right? Yeah. And so the price keeps going up. But if you call them and you say, hey, I'm paying too much, they'll say, okay, let me fix that for you.
You say what?
You say, I'm paying too much. Or, so what I say is, there's a trick to it, right? So for everybody, you go on, if you have Comcast, you dial 1-800-COMCAST. The voice prompts keep coming up, right? And you say downgrade service. They say, what do you want to do today? And you say downgrade service. Immediately you go to a person. And you go to a customer loyalty person. And that customer loyalty person is the only one at Comcast that can adjust your rates. And so I'm seeing a house later after this class. I told them to do it. I didn't do it for them. I told them to do it. They saved $100 a month.
House.
That's $1,200 a year. Previous house, a couple weeks ago, I went to somebody and I looked at their Comcast bill. I saved them $1,500 a year, or $1,500 a month. Or no, sorry, $150 a year a month, $1,500 a year, about somewhere around there. Okay, so they just let it. They're not going to ask you to spend less. You just call them, and then if you remember, put it on your calendar in 2 years, because they'll give you a 2-year pricing special. Put a calendar note and say, I need to call Comcast.
If you're saying, I'm paying too much, and they'll say, okay, I want to downgrade myself.
That's how, yeah. So how to get through the voice prompt. So the question is, I'm saying downgrade service. What I'm saying is, when you get to the automatic prompts, and they say, what do you want to do today? You say, downgrade service. When you talk to the real person, you say, I've been looking at my bill and I think I'm paying too much.
You're not going to try to downgrade service, you're going to try to pay less for what you got.
Correct. So she said, you're not really telling them that you're going to downgrade, you just want to pay less. That's correct. The only reason why you say that is so you can get to that person without going through all the voice prompts. Okay. And typically those people, I'll even give you a further hint. They're either from Minnesota, Colorado, or Guatemala. You hope to get the people from Colorado or Minnesota.
How would you know?
Accents. You can tell if they're from Minnesota. You can't really tell if they're from Colorado, but you can tell if they're from. You could. So Guatemala is the overflow. So when they're so busy, it's the overflow. Your best bet is to call before 12. Call Comcast. If you're going to do this, call them before 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I know all these tricks because I call them all the time. Okay.
So I spent 40 minutes on the phone. I can get my bill. I finally just gave up in despair because he kept wanting to take away some of my service.
So I say no. So the question is, she spent, what's your name? Sorry, what's your name? Your name? Virginia says that she spent 40 minutes on the phone with them and they kept wanting to downgrade service. And I'll give you guys another hint. If you've got HBO, you've got one or two converter boxes, right? Cable boxes, you're probably going to pay around $220. If you're paying more than that, you should call. Okay, that's about right about where as low as it can get. If you have a couple of movie channels and a couple of converter boxes, and you have internet. If you're paying $250, $270, $300 a month, you have to call. Okay, Diana, you had another question?
Yeah, what's easier to do? I have Comcast and I have Amazon Prime, and if I wanted to get into HBO and get out of it, which was more convenient?
How are you going to act? So she asked, which one's more convenient? They're, in my opinion, they're kind of equally convenient because you still go to Prime Video, and then you have to go to the HBO channel, which is, it looks like, let's see, where is it? I don't have a picture of it, but it's basically gives you rows of stuff that you have to access to.
Well, I don't mean convenient, yeah, not convenient to use, but let's say I only want HBO for a month or two.
Oh, do it, sign up for it on the computer.
Okay, and through Amazon Prime, you mean?
You can, the hard part, no, I wouldn't do it through Amazon Prime. And the reason why, because so the question is, if I want to sign up for a service and I know I'm going to turn it off, should I do it through Xfinity? Should I do it through Amazon? Or should I do it on the web? You can do it through Amazon. They make it really easy to add. They make it really difficult to find out where to unadd. So it's buried in about 5 different clicks. So when I say clicks, right? Like you have to go to menu, you have to go to this, you got to go to this, you got to go to this, and then change it. If you sign up through the web, okay, then you know what your username is, you know what your password is. You just go back to the browser and turn it off. You're back to your computer and turn it off. What you do is you go through Xfinity or get the HBO Max app and then just sign in. So it's easier to do it separately if your intent is to unsubscribe.
Thanks.
Yep. Before I continue, so let me go here. And so I told you before that you can go to any device and watch the channels you subscribe to. So I can go on my computer. Okay, move you guys out of the way here. Sign in, and I can watch it on my computer. And we have, again, I have 4 kids, 3 of them have their own profiles. And the nice thing about that, so if we're both watching, let's just say Wednesday, okay, I'm watching it on my profile, my daughter's watching it on her profile, we stop on different episodes. I go to my profile and I pick it up where she picks it up where she left it off. I go to my profile, I'm on a different episode, I can pick up where I started and stopped. That's the benefit of having different profiles. The other thing is they have so much content, right? That, you know, it's just, you can watch Netflix for hours. They also have a lot of documentaries. Right? And for example, you like nature programs, they have lots of that stuff. Right? And so they have lots of different things. Okay. If you like dramas and crime, you can watch those things, original content, all kinds of things. Let me show you Prime Video though, real quick, because I'm going to address what Diana was asking about. So Prime Video has, anytime you see that Prime sign up in the upper left-hand corner, that means it's available to you through your Prime subscription. This will show also on your TV the same way. It's almost the same format. They categorize them in different ways, Prime original content and like new movies and things like that. And you can go find other things that you want to watch. You can go, here's the ones that are free. You can add different channels. You can rent movies. So these are just, for example, you can rent, any of these movies, Top Gun, let's say Top Gun, you can rent it for $5, right? Or buy it for $20. Okay. And so when you buy it, it stays in your account forever. So you can access it whenever you want on any device, or if you want your kids to watch it, they can watch it. Right? Just give them your Amazon account. Shh, I didn't say that. You're not supposed to say it. You're not supposed to do that.
You don't want to just browse through
You can. So I can just say, what's on Prime?
What was the question, Eric?
Yes, sir, Carl.
What was the question, Eric? I didn't
Oh,
hear that.
I'm sorry. She said, if you don't want to browse, can you search for specific shows? Yes, you can.
Thanks.
And if you look at it, it looks just like your Amazon almost, right? So it's familiar if you use Amazon. Yep. Yeah. So so the question is, she was looking for a show supposed to be in Prime, and it wasn't available in California. Different regions have different rules. So if you go to Europe, it's different Netflix than it is here in the States. So they have different, I don't know how they do it, but they have different rules for it. If you know a state's watching it and you have a VPN, you can log into that other state and then watch Netflix over there. And there's a lot of VPNs, a virtual private network, where it puts there's lots to it, but when it does, it makes you appear that you're coming from somewhere else. So if I'm in Europe, like I was in Portugal earlier this year, and I wanted to watch something in the United States Netflix, I VPN'd into New York and then watched Netflix in the US versus Netflix in Europe. And vice versa, actually, because we were watching a show in Portugal and it wasn't shown here in the US. So when we got back, I had to, in order for us to finish it, I had to pretend I was in Europe to watch it. Okay. There's lots of ways to get around all this stuff. This is why you got to take our classes all the time, right? We have lots of classes.
Does that
Hulu,
slow things down, Eric?
yeah, the question is, does the VPN slow it down? Yeah, it does. But you have to have really fast internet. Disney Plus. So they're all pretty much the same. They all kind of look the same in some regards. They all navigate similarly. Okay. So this is Disney. They have lots of stuff for younger people. Yes, question.
I've never watched it.
Okay, so the question is, Virginia kept getting advertisements or emails or whatever saying that you got Peacock for free. So when they launched Peacock, they were behind everybody else. And they're behind CBS, they're behind Netflix, they're behind HBO. In order for them to get consumers or watchers, they did a deal with their TV providers that you would get Peacock for free. Now, if you have Xfinity, you have Peacock for free. And they're doing it so they can get viewers. I would expect sometime soon that that's going to stop. And once they get to so many subscribers or watchers. And so what they want to do is hook you on content so that you're willing to pay for it later. So right now, so again, if we go back to this slide here, let's see, what, not this slide here, you'll see Peacock's the smallest one, but they're also kind of the newest one of the network channels. You don't see ABC in here because their content's on Hulu, because Disney owns it. And Disney owns ABC.
So, if you have the same model, that means you don't get grandfathered in because you find out earlier.
So the question is, if Peacock starts a subscription only a model, will you get grandfathered in? I can't predict the future, but I'm going to tell you from a business side, no. They might offer you a different discounted rate versus somebody who's coming off the street, but I can't imagine they're going to grandfather you in. Now, the difference though between Peacock, even though you get Peacock for free, there's commercials.
I'm gonna have to watch.
So when you go home into your room, hit the mic, say Peacock. And I will tell you that everybody loves Yellowstone on Peacock. It's a Kevin Costner TV show, Western. And everybody loves that show. And it's one of the ones that they like. And that's only available on Peacock. Okay. On Paramount, which is funny, they've got 1883, which is the prequel to Yellowstone. And I will tell you, it's probably the best Western I've seen in forever. 1883. And it's available on Paramount, which is, again, these, and so let me ask you, so here's a question, right? And here's a question that nobody has asked yet. How do I know what's playing on what? Well, so this is what I do. I go and I'll say, okay, I want to watch, let's just say Wednesday. I don't want to see, let's go 1883, right? And I just go into a browser and it says, oh, 1883, here's the TV show, right? And it's going to tell you somewhere how to watch this, right? And if you look on the right-hand side, it says, this is the show, right? 1883. It says, how do you watch it, right? And if you click on that, it'll show you all the different places you can watch it on. So rather than going through and browsing through all the different channels, open up your computer, your phone, and just type in the show you want to watch. And it's going to tell you these are the ways you can watch it. And if you have one of them, great. You can watch it. If you don't have one of them, you can be like Diana and just do it for a month. You know, what do they say? Binge it and then turn it off. Okay. But this is the easiest one because, like I said before, it's really confusing how much content's out there and what channel it's playing on. You know, one of these days, I'm going to look at my bills and say, oh, I'm paying $220 for Comcast. I'm paying $20 for Netflix. I'm paying $8 for Hulu, $5 for Disney, $4 for Paramount, $3 for blah, 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 right? And one of these days, I'm going to catch up and or figure out something else out to do. But what I'm going to tell you though about all this stuff, it's rapidly changing. Remember, I showed you this chart here. Okay. Other than Netflix, I mean, Prime Video has been around for a few years. Actually, this channel, this one here, Prime Video has been around for a little while, and Netflix has been around for a little while. Disney Plus, like I said, only started maybe 3 years ago. HBO Max, they just got swallowed up by Time Warner or Warner Brothers. Hulu's been around for a while. Paramount's new. Peacock's new. Apple TV is relatively new, right? Their content. So all of this is changing. And it's changing because it's very competitive. Everybody's looking for your subscription dollar. And they're looking at it because, like I said, even though Netflix hasn't made money, they got revenue coming in, which allows them to generate more money. In fact, Netflix is talking about moving to advertising to try to make more money. All right, so let's go back to the last slide. And so again, how do you get started? For those at the V and those who have Xfinity, all you have to do is say, talking to your mic, say the channel you want to that you think you have, and sign in, like I showed you before. You can also just say 1883 on Paramount, and it'll open up 1883 on Paramount if you have already signed in. Okay. My recommendation, subscribe to 1 or 2 services, talk to your friends, see what they're talking about. Give it a trial, because almost everybody gives you at least a 7-day, 2-week, or 3-month trial, and see if you like it. Okay. A note for the streaming channels: no internet, no TV. If your internet goes out, you don't have access to those streaming channels. Okay.
Internet goes out all the time. Can't watch television.
You can't, well, so the question is, their internet here at the V goes out all the time. How often does it really go out? How often does it really go out?
Well, I'll also on my computer, but I use no internet. Oh, at least once a month.
Once a month, you guys think? They typically have pretty good internet. So I'm going to address that separately. All right, just because I have some discussions with you, some tips for you guys. But yes, bottom line is, if you don't have internet, you can't watch a streaming, but you most likely can watch cable because it comes through different areas.
Do we have cable?
Yeah, you should. If you have a cable TV box, you have cable.
Do we have them separate box?
No, not necessarily.
I have my cable. And I have the mobile places. I cannot afford.
Yeah, so the question is, she's got the most basic Comcast. She can't ask for the streaming channels. If that's the case, you can go and you want to watch these things, you can put a Roku stick into your TV and set that up. We can show you how to set that up. And then you can watch all the streaming, and then you can really manage really what you want and what you don't want. It's a little bit easier. So the Roku, you'd have to change your input, which is your HDMI input. And then Roku will stream everything through their device. And you still have to pay the subscription. The Roku, though, is only a one-time purchase. So if I'll just say Roku here. You can, if you have a smart TV, you can watch it through your smart TV. There's a caveat. So the question is, if she has a smart TV, can she watch it through a smart TV? I will say, generally speaking, yes. But if your TV is older than 5 years old, you probably don't have access to like Disney Plus and Peacock and Paramount, because remember, those channels are new. They came preloaded with channels that they knew they had available then. If you have a new TV, yes, you probably have access to all of it. New TV 3 years or newer. So much stuff, right? So much, it gets complicated. But like I said, if you have Xfinity, you have the ability to stream through Xfinity. It's the easiest way to do it. Virginia has a question.
Do they know when you're watching?
So the question is, do the content providers, does Netflix know when you're watching a program? Yes, absolutely they do. Everything you watch, well, everything they watch is kept somewhere. Yes. 2 reasons. One of which is you can start and stop it. You can stop it, walk away, go get a cup of coffee or dinner, come back, restart it where you're at. So they know where you stopped and where you started. They know what program you're watching. The other part is then they can recommend more stuff that's similar to what you already watched. And there's lots of shows that you may not know about that are really interesting.
That's why, yes. Every now and then here's some shows.
Yeah. So if you looked at what I like, any of my things that I had open here, let's just say Netflix again. Right. It says all these things are recommended to me. And just so you know, I don't watch Too Hot to Handle. My kids, my daughter's watching it. My wife is watching it. Okay. But it'll show me things like documentaries. All these are not just random documentaries. My wife watches a lot of true crime stuff. So they start showing a bunch of true crime documentaries that they think we'll like, or a lot of action shows because they think I like that stuff, which I do. And so all these things, and then there's another thing that all these pictures are different depending on the user. Yes, because they think, oh my, this picture might be more I would be more willing to click on it because I like the picture. So if you go to yours, it'll be different from what's on here. It's pretty, I mean, from a pure technical sense, it's pretty amazing. From a privacy point, it's kind of intrusive. Yeah, it is very manipulative. All right, questions online. Did we cover all that stuff?
Eric,
Yes, Diana.
I just, when I got my new T-Mobile account in August, I got 1 year free to Apple TV, but I never got around to signing up for it. And today I was on my T-Mobile account and it was still there and I signed up for it and it's still good for another year.
Yes.
So
T-Mobile does if you have a T-Mobile account, they'll give you Apple TV, they'll give you Paramount, by the way, and a couple others, and they'll pay for it for a year.
now I activated it using my phone. When I go to my TV now, will it automatically be there available?
No, you have to sign in.
Okay.
So
What do I
when you
sign
get it
in
on your
with?
phone, you signed in with an account on your phone.
Uh-huh.
You have to use that same account to log into it on the TV.
Okay, thanks.
Eric, what do you think?
Yes, Don.
What do you think of YouTube TV?
So the question about YouTube TV. So the people in the audience, right? So we're talking about cutting the cord. And there's a couple of options if you cut the cord. Hulu Live and YouTube TV. YouTube is owned by Google. Hulu Live is owned by ABC, Disney, that whole conglomeration, AT&T actually too. Once upon a time, Don, we would recommend YouTube TV. I think at this point, Hulu Live is better. YouTube TV seems to be losing channels.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, where Hulu Live seems to keep adding channels. That's if you don't have Xfinity, or don't want to pay for a more robust Xfinity, because I think your basic Xfinity with internet's probably $120, something like that. But you get all the local channels, so it's redundant. I would just go get particular streaming channels to add on and enhance it. Like if you're paying 120 for the basic Xfinity and internet, you have all your live local channels, great. But then I want to watch some movies, I might just get Netflix for $15. And instead of paying $220 for all the 225 channels that you have that you never watch, you add on one subscription channel that you will watch. And then ultimately you pay less, right? So the question is, if we want to use Amazon Prime, if you already have a Prime account, you don't have to pay anything extra unless you add on things. So I'll tell you, my mother-in-law, I gave her my Amazon Prime account. She was watching on her TV. She kept buying stuff and I kept finding him on my bill. And I'm like having to stop it again, right? So they make it really easy to say, oh, I want to watch that. Sure, buy it. And then next thing I know, there's a subscription on my Amazon bill. So just be careful what you agree to. All right. One more question. The question is there a difference between HBO and HBO Max? Yes. HBO Max is HBO Cinemax. Okay, if you only watch, but there's a button here. Well, I'm watching HBO on Xfinity. I only have access to HBO. I don't know what your package looks like, your TV cable package. You may also get access to Cinemax on a different channel, may or may not. I don't know how they do that right this minute. However, if you have an HBO account, you can log into your HBO Max account with your Xfinity username and password, and then you'll have access to HBO Max. They do show different things, and it's going to change. I'm going to tell you that HBO Max is going to change because of the Time Warner purchase and the future consolidation. That'll happen probably this next year, where it'll be Discovery Plus, HBO Max, and I will bet that they raise their price as well because they're losing so much money right now. But again, all this is changing rapidly, but again, if you have Xfinity, it's pretty easy to manage. Okay, as so long as you have the subscriptions. Okay, I know it just muddied the waters, but it's available. It's interesting. Right now, it's easy if you have accounts to log in through your Xfinity box. Okay. Any other questions? So I think Monday we're doing I mean, you guys won't probably be there, but Monday we're doing all about Xfinity class. And it goes from everything from all the features and, you know, the different menu items and all this other stuff. So if you guys ever hit the Xfinity button, you see all these things line up on the bottom. Okay. Do you use on demand? Then you should come Monday's class. Sign up and come to Monday's class. It's on Zoom. No, it's on Zoom. It's on Zoom. So how do you good question. How do they access? So you have to sign up for our site. And our site is at ANVCS Community Services or ANVCS. You would sign up. Right? You click this sign up button here. And you spell out this information and we'll send you an email and it'll say activate and blah blah blah. Okay. When you do log in.
That you're watching him?
Yes, we're watching him on a Zoom.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I
When you
said.
do log in. Hi, Cynthia. Right. Then you can just go here and just say book now. Oops, go ahead. Well,
Oh, he's talking about his classes.
you go here. You see 2 o'clock. Next.
Oh, you turned me
And then
on.
you
So
go. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
you can see. And
Our Monday and Wednesday classes are free.
I raised your hand so you can ask a question.
All our Monday, Wednesday classes are free. But we also, like, if you look at our calendar, just like if I said, if you look at our calendar, the ones that are not in purple are all the free classes. And then there are others. And it's $15 a month or $150 a year. And then if you're a premium member, you can go back to any class that we've watched or recorded. Or you've watched or recorded, because we record all our classes like we are today.
We're not members.
We are, otherwise we couldn't watch it.
Bob, you have a question?
Cynthia has a question.
Cynthia has a question.
Yeah, what do you mean about signing in on Xfinity? We have a DirecTV cable or whatever, satellite, but we have Xfinity internet. So what does that mean, signing in?
So that means you're gonna have to buy a Roku stick or go through your smart TV and sign in through your smart TV. You guys just bought a new TV. So you can use your smart TV to hit the home button, click on Netflix, and then sign in.
Well, we do have Netflix.
Yeah, so that's how you do it. So you have to, for you would go through your smart TV, or you can buy your Apple TV or your Roku stick.
Okay, did you understand that?
I don't understand it.
Okay, we didn't understand it.
We'll work on it. Thank you.
Sign in through your smart TV.
Okay.
All right.
All right, anybody else questions?
Sign in through smart TV.
John, over at the, John, you're at a new facility.
The Sequoias, correct.
Sequoias. Do they use Xfinity?
Yes, we have, yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, so most facilities, they use Comcast. Yeah, like the Hamilton, the Sequoias, Comcast is in a good job of infiltrating those places. All right, so hopefully this was interesting. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, next month, and I'll get some for here at the V next month, we're talking about antivirus programs. And if you have a computer, you should have an antivirus program. And we'll talk about what all that means. Okay. For the rest of you guys online, thank you guys for attending. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful weekend. And for here at the V, I'll see you guys next month, or I might see you guys on Monday's class. Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.